If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host. Favorite host.
This freedom is anything but free. What we have here depends on those who will fight for what they believe. When we stand together, there's nothing that we can't achieve. This nation of people one in the name of liberty.
Weapons violation involving a gun, 400 block of East Monroe Avenue, 225, 221 Charlie, 121, 122, 123. Fire response is authorized. Multiple calls.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is how the day started in Alexandria, Virginia today, where there was a heinous act where a sick, deranged individual took it upon himself to attack those that he was politically and ideologically opposed to, not with words, but with deed and with action and with bullets. Now, I have been warning you guys for years that a darkness was coming. That there would be a time that America would start turning so dark that we wouldn't be able to recognize her anymore. I submit to you that that time is just about upon us. I submit to you that we are so divided and so angry with one another that we no longer view each other as people. We no longer view each other as Americans. Everyone who disagrees with us is an enemy. They are an enemy of the state. They are politically enemies. And they must be destroyed. They must be obliterated. And it has to stop. I'm going to say some things tonight that are not going to be popular, but I'm going to say them anyway because I feel like I have to. Because I've known this was coming and I've tried to get prepared for it. I've tried to prepare you for it. But now that I'm seeing it start to unfold right in front of us, we aren't ready. We are not prepared for what is coming. Now, I have something that I want to read to you today. It actually started as a bit of a Twitter storm and then kind of got reworked into a Facebook post. But it's kind of my take on what's happened today in Alexandria. And elsewhere around the country today, because you know that this wasn't the only shooting today. But it summarizes it, at least to the best of my ability, pretty easily. But now all of a sudden I don't seem to be able to find it. Give me just one moment. Oh, there we go. Alright, so it's titled My Take on the Scalise shooting today. We as a society need to stop vilifying the instruments used in acts of terror or violence. There is no way to uninvent the gun, and bans don't work. Anybody remember Prohibition? How's that going with marijuana? Laws are a deterrent, but they do not stop 100% of crimes, or else why would we need prisons, police officers, things like that. There also wouldn't be any violence if laws worked 100% of the time, so things that happen like today wouldn't happen. The issue is not the instrument used violently, but the one who wields it in the name of violence. The person that committed this heinous act made a conscious, I want to reiterate that to you, a conscious choice to do bodily harm to people he was politically opposed to. A gun is an inanimate object, unable to act on its own. Unless or until we can come together and realize this isn't a left-right issue, but instead an issue between those who choose to obey the law and those who choose to break it, then we are lost. Until we can assign the blame where it belongs, which is with the perpetrator of the violence, not the instrument, then we are lost. I am not saying there are not aggravating factors here, and we're actually going to be talking about quite a few of those tonight. In this instance, what I am saying is that at the end of the day, this man made a choice to attack another human being. No, several of them, simply because he despised their political ideology. If we want this nation to survive, we have to learn to put aside our differences and work together. Anybody remember when we used to actually be able to do that? We've been talking about that a lot this week because of the fact that, you know, there used to be there was a ramp up, an election, a cycle down, people came back together, we got back to work. We can't do that anymore. Again, I'm not saying there were not aggravating factors in this instance. What I am saying is at the end of the day, the man made a choice to attack several human beings because he despised their political ideology. If we want this nation to survive, we have to learn to put aside our differences and work together. We must stop the useless rhetoric about gun control. The gun is not at fault. The person wielding it is. Gun laws can't fix this. Gun bans can't fix this. Politicians can't fix this. Our government cannot fix this. The only people that can fix this are you and me and all of us. At the end of the day, no matter the instrument used, we are faced with what is a human problem. Man's inhumanity to man. It has been around since Genesis. Cain, Abel, Rock. Anybody remember that? This has to be fixed. It has to. But the only way that we can fix it is if we decide to fix it. Because again, our government can't do it. The politicians can't do it. We have to do it. All of us that get so angry that we think, well, next time I see a liberal on the street, I'm just going to go punch him in the face. Or next time I see a Republican on the street, I'm just going to go punch him in the face. We have to make a conscious decision each and every day to be better than we were the day before. We have to end the hate. We have to end the violence. Because at the end of the day, we're all Americans. But at the end of the day, we're also all human beings. And we seem to have forgotten that. There are instances of this on both sides. There was recently an interview done with Eric Trump, where he specifically said that he didn't really view Democrats as people. I saw today so much violence on both sides on social media. I actually was pulled into a conversation with a person who started out by attacking every single right-wing person because it's our fault because of the NRA. Now, I came to understand later that this particular person actually had a family tragedy that led them to form the beliefs that they've had. And I'm not going to give out their name or give any more detail, because I don't have permission to do so, and I don't think that's fair. But what I will tell you is it did start coloring how I was interacting with her. it changed my viewpoint a little bit because I understood the anger. I understood the vitriol because in a similar situation, I may have felt the same way. It really is that simple. You don't know what the person who's lashing out has been through. And that's something that we always forget when we're so easy to rush to judgment. I mean, look at what happens with these gun violence instances. And I just realized I have blown completely through my first break. So we need to get that out of the way real quick, and then I will continue, because I have to at least give the affiliates somewhere to put their commercials when they run the shows. So we will be right back. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. We're going to continue the question of, is there a gun problem in America, or do we have a more substantial problem? So far, I think you figure out which way I'm leaning, but we have more to talk about, so we'll be right back.
This way comes these times. These are the times that we'll try. They'll try me so.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Hardin. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at rahardin.com. That's the World Wide Web at rahardin.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Hardin to see and purchase his books.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Welcome back, folks. Unfortunately, since I went long into the first break, that means we have a short segment to make up for some time for the commercials that I can actually get paid for on the other affiliates. So we'll be taking a break here in about another 5 minutes, but that gives me enough time to finish up at least my opening train of thought. Which, again, we need to figure out where the blame lies, and the blame doesn't belong with the gun. But another thing that really disturbed me today, because one of the things that I was waiting on, because there was so much hate, there was so much anger, there was so much justification from the left about the Republicans being attacked, and then I started to see other things happening. And I started to see tweets being put out about the Democratic opponents that were at their practice session for the charity baseball game for tomorrow night, starting to pray for the GOP that were attacked. And people started attacking them for praying. Some of the comments that, I mean, again, going back to the lady that I was in a rather heated discussion with earlier today, at one point I had pointed out that this was someone who was ultimately on her side of the aisle, because this was a Bernie supporter who basically decided that they'd had enough of right-wing ideology and decided to go try to attack somebody over it. Now, say what you want, but it's interesting to me that someone who supported Bernie Sanders, who was basically an outright gun control nut, would be the one that was out wielding weapons to cause mayhem and destruction. Because if you're going to be supporting a guy that wants to restrict weapons, why would you yourself violate the law to cause harm to others using something that you despise? Now, that was irony number one. Irony number two was listening to someone from the left scream at us about how it was our fault. And I pointed out, I wouldn't necessarily be throwing stones if I were you, because this was a leftist espousing most of the ideology that you're spouting, and yet he's the one who did this. I would literally be ashamed to be a Democrat today. And I'm not saying that to earn brownie points with conservatives. I'm not saying that to piss off liberals. I'm saying it because it's the truth. I would literally be ashamed to be a Democrat today. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, I would also literally, after the exchange that I saw on a tweet where the Democratic congressmen were praying for their Republican counterparts, from all the hate and vitriol I saw from the right, I am equally just as happy that I left the GOP before this election cycle. Because I did. I felt politically homeless. Today has reaffirmed that fact for me, that I am still politically homeless, because we have angry, hateful people on both sides, and I refuse to be a part of that rhetoric any longer. I'm not saying there wasn't a time that I wouldn't have dove right in. And Dave, the former host of Finding Common Ground, one of the original host actually with me, we were having this discussion the other day, because I was watching him post very, very hatred-laced, vitriolic things about President Trump. At least as hatred-laced and vitriolic as Dave can get, because he's kind of a huge teddy bear. But it was bad, because I'm watching the things that he said, and I'm like, Dave, look, read what you're saying here. And he's like, well, didn't you vilify Obama? Yeah, you're right, I did in the beginning. I gave him 100 days, it didn't work, and I was angry, so I started lashing out. But I learned something from you. Because I learned that you voted for him, but you weren't really supporting him either, but you were still not attacking him the way everybody else was. And that's what I've learned from listening to actual liberals, not progressive asshat liberals, actual liberals. The classical term of a liberal, which is what Dave is. He's not one of these, everything needs to be free, everybody needs to be fed, everybody needs to be clothed, everybody needs to be housed. Look, I'm as lazy as the next guy, so truth be told, if we could find a way to make that work and not put us permanently in the control of the government, I would probably go for it. Just because it makes life easy. But let's face it, life was never meant to be easy. But that's the problem. We have an entire society now that thinks they are owed everything. And as soon as a Republican president, even if he is the epitome of a rhino, yes, I said it again. I know you guys do not like it when I talk badly about Trump, but the simple fact of the matter is it is the truth. He is more left-leaning than he is right-leaning. He is a Republican in name only, but he is still POTUS. And therefore, I have to support him, I have to defend him as much as I can, but I am not going to be a blind ideologue. If that's what you're expecting, then please feel free to go tune back into Wayne Dupree or one of the other guys that does nothing but talk all positive Trump all the time, because that is not ever going to be me. When he deserves it, I will be positive. Today is one of the days that he deserves it. And we're going to change topics and talk about that a little bit when we get back. But remember, I told you, because I took a break so late in the first segment, we're going to have to take one now. And sadly, that means to get us back on track, we're going to have to take another, what seems like a really, really short one. So give me just 1 second here, and we will get underway with the break.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year. And I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
All right, folks, we're back. All right, so we've got unfortunately, about 3 minutes until we have to take the bottom of the hour break, because like I said, I blew the entire schedule for the first half of the show, and for that I do apologize. But that gives me just enough time to touch on something that bumper reminded me of. Look, I want you to really look at what happened today. There were congressmen, elected congressmen, getting ready for a charity event. A charity event. There were children there. And yet this person, because of their anger, because of their hatred, because of their blind rage, casually walked up to them and started opening fire. Now, you can blame the gun all you want, but I'm done doing that. The gun is not the problem. Maybe it's different for me. I spent, all told, about 14 years of my life with a gun on my hip. I spent a good portion of that time in uniforms, both public and private sector. I did private investigations work. I ran a security firm. So maybe it's different for me because I understand a gun. I've been around them. I was raised around them. I know how to treat them. I know that they're not toys. Maybe that's why it's so much different for me. Maybe that's why a lot of the folks in the city that they see a gun and the first thing... I mean, I have literally seen grown adults look at a gun as if it were a snake. And maybe that's part of the problem, because we don't teach anyone about weapons anymore. Because we don't need them as much as we used to anymore, as far as they're concerned. Because in the cities, you don't have the wildlife problems, or you don't have the issues that you have out in the country. I live in the Midwest. We have guns everywhere. I'm not going to tell you, but I'm not going to tell you how many guns I have in my home. Because I don't have to. But this isn't a gun problem. This is a people problem. This is a we don't treat each other like we're human beings anymore problem. And before anybody starts trying to overanalyze what I'm talking about American citizens first. Because there are people that want to destroy us. Those people have to be dealt with. But the first thing we need to do is identify the problem when it comes to gun violence in America. And it's not the gun. It is the perpetrator of the violence in America. Because let's face it, if we take away the gun, so let's say we remove the gun so there's no more gun violence. Great, that leaves car violence. That leaves bomb violence. That leaves stick violence. That leaves knife violence, baseball bat violence, brass knuckle violence, hand violence. I mean, the violence is the problem. The instrument of the violence isn't the problem. So when we come back from the break, because remember, I told you, and I wanted to spend most of the show talking about this. This is the fault of the gunman. But we're going to talk about some aggravating circumstances. And then we're going to end the show on a positive note, because I don't want to... I mean, dude, it's late. Everybody's fixing to have to go to bed. They're going to have to get up, go to work. I don't want everybody going to bed mad. We've been mad most of the day. So let's get that out of the way. Let's take the bottom of the hour break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about some of what... I mean, again, I spent most of my adult life with a badge and a gun. So excuse me for using some law enforcement talk, or some law talk. Let's start talking... aggravating circumstances, because there were aggravating circumstances here. So let's take a look and a listen. But we'll do that when we get back. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. We'll be back in about 4 minutes. Stay tuned.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. But it's the peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Oh, it's root for the home team. They don't win, it's a shame. Now it's 1, 2,
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Hardin. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at rahardin.com. That's the World Wide Web at rahardin.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Hardin to see and purchase his books.
Alright folks, we are back. We are live and we're into the last half of the show. My oh my, where does the time go? Alright, so as promised, aggravating factors to the incident. I have a couple of different ones that I definitely wanted to make sure that I got to. Give me just a second, let me get them queued up. This one is Loretta Lynch. You're probably going to recognize this one, but we are going to play it anyway. Oh, hang on.
I know that this is a time of great fear and uncertainty for so many people. I know it's a time of concern for people who see our rights being assailed, being trampled on, and even being rolled back. I know that this is difficult, but I remind you that this has never been easy. We have always had to work to move this country forward to achieve the great ideals of our founding fathers. And it has been people, individuals, who have banded together, ordinary people who simply saw what needed to be done.
My God, are you still talking?
Those ideals who have made the difference. They've marched, they've bled. Yes, some of them have died. This is hard. Every good thing is. We have done this before, we can do this again.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
So there you have Loretta Lynch basically talking about how terrible it is that all their rights are going to be rolled back and basically tacitly inciting violence. Nobody says a word, though. I mean, you know, she calls for people to take to the streets, and you get this. Now again, I do want to parallel something, because there was a similar incident a while back. Anybody remember the Gabby Gifford shooting? Now, I say similar only because, again, it was a Congress person that was attacked. A member of Congress that was attacked, let's say that. And I remember that they rushed to judgment and claimed that it had something to do with the right and some rhetoric and blah, 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 blah. And then eventually it turned out to be some sort of a liberal with a mental disorder. And now we have yet another instance of liberals using guns to incite violence. But these are the same. I mean, I wonder if that's what it is. Maybe that's why they are so intent on removing guns, because they're the ones that know they have the problem. You know, it's kind of like it's that old saying of, you know, the person that goes into psychology or psychiatry is normally because they want to try to understand something about themselves. Maybe the people that are screaming for the gun bans and screaming to have rights restricted and high capacity magazines and all the other things that they're trying to take away, maybe it's because they know what's in their hearts. Because I know what's in mine. I know what a gun is. It is a weapon. It is a tool. It is used for defense, not offense. Defense. That is what happens when you are raised around them, when you understand them, when you know that they are dangerous. And that is a huge thing that has stopped happening in this country. I remember, even back in the 80s when I was going through high school, you could literally go out and see at lunchtime the principal talking to someone about a gun that they had in a rack in their pickup truck. And they were comparing guns, and they were talking about where they went hunting the weekend before. Now kids get suspended for those type of things. What's changed? Other than the rhetoric and the media, what has changed? Now, speaking of rhetoric, we have another little bit here that I definitely want to make sure that I get in before the next break, because it sounds remarkably like Loretta Lynch.
We've got to do
but it's Tim
is
Kaine.
Fight in Congress, fight in the courts, fight in the streets, fight online, fight at the ballot box.
Now, I want to play that part in the middle for you one more time.
We've got to do is fight in Congress, fight in the courts, fight in the streets, fight online, fight at the ballot box.
Well, we already know how liberals fight at the ballot box. They stuff it. How many dead Democrats voted in the last election? We already know how they fight online. They name call. They attack. How do they fight in the streets? Could Alexandria be an example of how the Democrats plan on fighting in the streets? Maybe not all of them, because I have seen plenty that were appalled today, but I have seen just as many that were celebrating. I don't remember the right celebrating when Gabby Giffords was shot. I don't remember the right dancing with glee online when Gabby Giffords was shot. But I have seen plenty of leftists dancing with glee over the fact that a sitting Republican senator was shot today. I have seen plenty of people vilifying the NRA because a sitting congressman was shot today. They're not vilifying the attacker because he had legitimate reasons. He was angry. He was upset. I don't remember anyone being attacked in this manner under the Obama administration, and how many of the right were painted as angry, as bitter, as clinging to our guns and our Bibles, and yet I don't remember that happening. Not like this. This was deliberate. This was targeted. The Giffords incident was not like this. That was a mentally deranged individual looking to attack any member of government, and he found one. It could have just as easily been a Republican. It could have just as easily been a man. It could have just as easily been anyone. This was intentional. This was deliberate. This was an attack. Plain and simple. It was a terror attack. That's what this is. That's what we need to understand. This is no longer just rhetoric. These people want to destroy us. Now again, there are plenty that don't, and I am not vilifying every single Democrat in this broadcast, and I want to make sure that you understand that. But those of you that are calling for the destruction of the Republicans, yes, you know who I'm talking to, because there is a literal Facebook group named something similar to obliterate or destroy all Republicans or some crap like that, because this whack job was a member. Can you imagine if there was a conservative Facebook group called Obliterate or Eliminate or whatever it's called, the Democrats? Could you imagine the outcry? The calls for banning, the calls for dissolution? I mean, it wouldn't matter because Mark Zuckerberg would have absolutely none of it. It would have already been disbanded. All right, I am long again, so I need to get another break out of the way. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. Going to start winding things down. We're going to start taking some comments from folks that have been chiming in both through chat and Twitter. But like I said, going to push things more towards a positive manner on the way out the door, because I got to start calming myself down at this point. I don't know about you. We'll be right back in about 2 minutes.
Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. But it's a peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care.
All right, folks, we are back. All right, so as promised, I want to start focusing on some of the positives that have come out of today. I have some audio concerning some of those positives. Give me just a second. Let me get back to the right screen here. So much audio, so little time. All right, so let's start with Bernie, because, yeah, he was the one that apparently this guy went and was part of his ground team or did something that volunteered for the campaign, etc. So, of course, he spoke out today. Let's give that a listen.
National Quorum called be vitiated.
Without objection.
Madam President, I have just been informed that the alleged shooter at the Republican baseball practice this morning is someone who apparently volunteered on my presidential campaign. I am sickened by this despicable act, and let me be as clear as I can be. Violence of any kind is unacceptable in our society, and I condemn this action in the strongest possible terms.
So there you have Bernie in a much different tone than the political campaign trail when he said much different things than what he just said right there. But the difference is there's a difference between rhetoric and reality. So Bernie Sanders was kind of slapped in the face with the fact that somebody that helped him with his campaign ultimately turned a gun onto Republicans. So at least he did the right thing at the time. Now, I actually was going to do something that I thought better of it. I was going to do a compare and contrast between the Obama administration first ever shooting incident within the Obama administration, and have you listen to the audio there, and then listen to the audio from Trump today. But you know what? I decided better against that because, again, I don't really want to be the one pushing political rhetoric today, because this isn't about political rhetoric. This is about the fact that we need to understand that there is a group of people that are out there on both sides of the aisle that refuse to follow the law. We, as people that have chosen to live within the laws of this country, have to understand that we need to do something about the people that continually refuse to operate within the law. That's why this isn't a left-right issue. But one of the things that I was really, really pleased to hear today was the president actually step up to the plate and, for once, we had a president that gave a speech that wasn't laced with rhetoric in regards to a shooting incident. We also had this president, for once, leave most of the talking points at home, which I was also glad to hear.
As you all know, shortly after 7 a.m. this morning, a gunman opened fire on members of Congress and their staffs as they were practicing for tomorrow's annual charity baseball game. Authorities are continuing to investigate the crime, and the assailant has now died from his injuries. The FBI is leading the investigation and will continue to provide updates as new information becomes available. Congressman Steve Scalise, a member of House leadership, was shot and badly wounded and is now in stable condition at the hospital, along with two very courageous Capitol police officers. At least two others were also wounded. Many lives would have been lost if not for the heroic actions of the two Capitol police officers who took down the gunman despite sustaining gunshot wounds during a very, very brutal assault. Melania and I are grateful for their heroism and praying for the swift recovery of all victims. Congressman Scalise is a friend, and a very good friend. He's a patriot, and he's a fighter. He will recover from this assault. And Steve, I want you to know that you have the prayers not only of the entire city behind you, but of an entire nation and, frankly, the entire world. America is praying for you, and America is praying for all of the victims of this terrible shooting. I spoke with Steve's wife, Jennifer.
All right, we're going to go ahead and cut it there because it runs for about another 2 minutes and we're getting long on time. But there you hear a very positive public speech about a very bad situation. There wasn't any of this calling for violence or rhetoric or this shouldn't have happened or this person is to blame or this group is to blame. It was, you know what? We're praying for you. We're here for you. We're all Americans. We're praying for you. We support you. And then he goes on to praise the police instead of condemn them. Now, that was what, in this situation, we would call a mitigating circumstance. And to paraphrase something that I heard Glenn Beck say today, God was obviously there. Because if Scalise had not been there, the Capitol Police would not have been there. Contrary to popular public opinion, most of Congress does not have security detail. The senior staff do. Scalise is among part of the senior staff. So since he was there was a detail there ready to respond. Since he was there were good guys with guns minutes from the scene. Now, I'm going to say something that is a very unpopular opinion, but by God, I'm going to say it anyway. The only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is for there to be a good guy with a gun. That's why bans will not work. You cannot... Anybody remember the phrase, you cannot uninvent the wheel? Because remember, if you look back in history, when they really started talking about things like the wheel and machinery, it was the end of society because it was going to kill jobs and it was going to do this and it was going to do that. But you cannot put the genie back in the bottle. No matter how much we may want to, you cannot put the genie back in the bottle. At this point, unless somebody tells me that MIB2 was a real thing, Men in Black 2 the movie, anybody remember where they had like the giant neuralizer in the Statue of Liberty and they set it off and everybody forgot the fact that there was a giant spaceship there? So unless somebody can tell me that there is one of those somewhere that can blanket the world in the shiny forget everything stuff, and somebody over a loudspeaker from a satellite can broadcast guns are not real, they've never existed, nobody knows how to make one, in the 30 seconds that it's going to flash, then we cannot put this genie back in the bottle. So let's stop talking about how we're going to put that genie back in the bottle and focus on the actual problem. It's a people problem. It is a people problem, plain and simple. It isn't a problem with the weapon. And because I promised to, because we were getting some feedback from Twitter, I'm going to give a shout out to at least one of the folks that I saw putting something in here earlier. And it was basically the same thing that I just said. But this was from Lion Ted Pride. And I promise I did not mean to step all over what you were going to say. I just kind of got caught up in the moment. The only gun problem, and this is from him, the only gun problem is not having one in hand when a nut starts taking or attempting to take a life. So again, the only true, real way to stop a bad guy with a gun is to make sure that a good guy has a gun. We're talking about law-abiding citizens here. That is one of the things about this argument that always slips through the cracks. Anyone who is wielding a gun in public and pulling a trigger is already breaking the law. As soon as they started brandishing it, they are breaking the law. Even if they haven't pulled the trigger yet, they are breaking the law. That's why this isn't a left-right issue. This isn't a gun issue. This is a people problem. Because we have people in this country that are intent on following the law of the land to the best of their ability, going about their daily lives, going to work, paying their bills, taking care of their families, making sure their kids go to school. All of those things. And then we have this percentage of the population that thinks they're better than everybody else, that only their rights matter, only their ideas matter, yours are irrelevant. And that's another part of the problem. This guy was so diametrically opposed to the Republican ideology that has been portrayed in the mainstream media that he took it upon himself to try to do something about it. Do you realize with the number of Republican senators that, or sorry, I keep saying senators, Republican congressmen that were there, that if he had been a better shot, 30% of those seats of the majority in the House could have been lost. So you tell me this was not politically motivated. You tell me there wasn't a reason why this man walked up to, I guess, who he didn't realize were two of the congressmen and said, "Hey, what's going on over there?" "Oh, it's a baseball game practice. It's for a charity event. We're with Congress and we're having a charity game tomorrow." "Oh, well, is that the Republicans or is that the Democrats?" "Oh, yeah, that's the Republicans." They go about getting in their car. He walks about 5 minutes later, all of a sudden gunshots ring out. He knew who he was looking for. He knew who he was attacking, and he knew why. That's what we need to deal with. Are the people that think that their ideas are the only ones that matter, and they're willing to do anything to prove to you that they're right, you're wrong, even if it means they're going to kill somebody over it. That's the problem. All right, well, I made an executive decision, because you know by now we would have normally taken another break. That break belongs to me, so I can move those around. I'm actually just going to delete that one. So we're not going to take the last break of the show, because guess what? We are just about out of time. So I haven't done this yet. I want to take a second to give a shout out to all of the affiliates. We have a change up with one of the affiliates. It is now rebranded. It's now called Talk America Radio. We are still on their Liberty channel, and it is still at 6 a.m. Eastern every Monday through Friday. We are on AMFM247.com every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. We are on, AMFM247.com Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Lanterns Radio Network is Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. SierraandTalk.com every Saturday and Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 7 Pacific. And starting next Monday, we will be live streaming via Facebook Live to Liberty Eagle Facebook page that has over 35,000 fans. So we hope to make that a big addition to the group, because that is a really huge Facebook page that is asked to start streaming some of our content over there. So we are really excited to start that, and that will be happening starting next Monday. And on that note, folks, we are officially out of time. And just one last final thought. Remember, the only way to fix this is for us to fix it. The government can't fix it. Laws can't fix it. Politicians can't fix it. But we can. And we have to make a conscious decision every day to be better than we were the day before. That is the only way to make this better. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to tune in today. I hope all of you enjoy the rest of your week. Thoughts and prayers to the Scalise family and all of the others impacted. Last news that I heard, contrary to the bit of the speech that we played a moment ago, is that he is still in critical condition, and that is unfortunately all I am at liberty to say. And on that note, we are out, folks. Take care. God bless. Good night.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran.
Wrong button. My bad.